I don't know how to start this video because they're normally scripted and I don't have a script. Today's review of a very contentious book is going to be a joint review. I'm here with my wife, Jessie. We're live from Wildflower Luxury Hair. No, we're not live. We're live, but this won't be live. Um, oh, I've messed it up already.
Start again.
No, it's all right. Um, would you like to introduce yourself and explain to the people why you are qualified to critique this book?
I am the wife of an author and I like to read. Therefore, I'm qualified as
Yeah,
a reader.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think they're
I'm a
solid
totally
qualifications.
qualified reader.
Now, before we get into it, I agree. Before we get into it, I want to explain why we're reviewing this book, especially considering the critical things I've said about the author Patrick Rothfuss on this channel. So, what would it have been like a couple of months ago? You came home, Jessie came home with not one, but two Patrick Rothfuss novellas. Put them in front of me. Look what I bought. We should read these together. I'm like, do you not know that I've been calling Patrick Rothfuss an evil wizard on my YouTube channel? And like, she doesn't watch my content, so of course she didn't know that. So we came to an arrangement. I would read it and I'd review it if we did a joint review. So that's what this is. Enjoy. Probably do the intro there. All right, so another thing I'm going to do for this review that I don't normally do is actually rate the book out of 5. You know, like you'd normally do. Amazon uses a 5-star rating. Goodreads uses a 5-star rating. So before we get into it, I want to explain what each star is and the categories we'll be going through. So 1 star, terrible, no right to exist. 2 stars just means bad, just plain old bad. 3 stars, average, like, meh, it's okay. 4 stars, good, great, even. 5 stars, if you give something 5 stars, if you give a book or a category 5 stars, it means it is mind-blowing in a good way. So the categories we'll be going through. And I've sort of adapted this from the Indie Fantasy Club rating system. It's similar but different. So we will cover world building. I don't think I need to explain what these categories mean, do I? People are going to know what it is. World building, characters, plot, overall enjoyment, which could encompass, you know, your enjoyment will encompass the other categories, but other factors could come into it. Like I know you've been enjoying the cover.
Very good illustrations. Look how pretty that is.
Look at that.
Inside as well. Lovely little pictures. All the way through the book.
Look at that. We're already saying positive things about the book.
Yeah, you know it's going to be a good one.
And
And look how pretty those pipes are.
yeah, like the pictures definitely aren't distracting from the questionable story within the pages.
Oh, it's a good story.
And the final category, so there's a special category that will probably only be relevant for this book and this particular author, and that is evil wizardry. How much we will be rating how much evil wizardry we think went into the writing and publishing of this book. So the lower the rating, the more evil wizardry we think was involved.
Which is going to be a hard one to rate because he's not an evil wizard.
Are you already trying to start an argument? Jessie had not watched that video. So I've got if anyone else hasn't watched it, I've got a video on my channel. It's about Patrick Rothfuss. I can't remember the name of the video, but I do call him an evil wizard. I think it's one of the most watched videos on the channel as well, which is interesting because I don't talk about Patrick Rothfuss that much or other famous authors that much. So you did watch it either last night or the night before.
Yeah.
So now we're on the same page, and doesn't necessarily mean we agree, but now Jessie knows where I stand. All right, that's the categories. Let's get into it. All right, let's go through the categories. We're going to start with world building. Jessie has requested that I go first for each one, because I have actually thought about this and come up with ratings. She's just making it up as she goes. Um,
Honest review.
honest, off the cuff, on the fly review.
There's no cuff.
There's no, there's not even a cuff involved. Not a cuff to go off. So world building. So I've given world building a 3 out of 5.
Are we going to start with the rating?
I'm going to start with the rating and then
Okay.
explain why I've given it that rating. So when I for the it's a bit of a tricky book to discuss world building because it doesn't really the character the one character doesn't really venture out into the wider world, doesn't really think too much about the wider world or talk about the wider world. So you're kind of confined to this one area. So the world building's more focused on the immediate setting rather than the wider world. And for that, I think that that was done really well. If you're not familiar with the book or the series, she basically lives underground in like a sewer system.
In the under thing.
It's called the under thing, but it's not really a sewer because there's like other stuff. See,
Yeah.
I don't even understand the setting. So
It's an underground tunneling that connects different areas, different cities, different ports together, following pipes. So it's all connected between, I guess, their steam, water, whatever goes in pipes.
yeah, all the like utilities and things.
Yeah.
But I so well, this is a problem I had and why I didn't give it. So from a setting perspective, I could have given it a 4 because it was the setting was really well described and really well done, really well constructed. Like every area has its own name and personality. This character's given every area that its own name, and you can sort of get the personality of the area from the name, and it suits the setting. So I thought that was really well done. But the reason why I knocked it down to average was because I had no idea. I had no understanding of what the underthing actually was, apart from just like a place where they run their pipes. But she's finding all these abandoned rooms and these blocked off rooms and hidden rooms and things like that. And it almost feels like if this was a post apocalyptic setting, that would make sense to me. All this stuff's been abandoned. Okay, that's cool. But it's like there's people living above and they've just neglected all this down here. No one comes down there. Spoiler, I should have said at the start as well. There will be spoilers in this review. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, I mean, it's hard to spoil a book where nothing happens. So we might be okay. Um, yeah, so I don't think there was enough understanding of the why of the setting. And you don't need that to enjoy the story, but it just left me with so many questions. And because this book is so focused on that setting and that character, I thought we were going to get more answers about
Mm.
that and more answers about her as well. I know I'm getting into characters now. It's just, yeah, I don't think it provided the satisfying answers I needed. And then, like, it didn't really reveal anything super compelling about the wider world. It's been so long since we read the Name of the Wind and the other one
Mm.
as well.
It has been a couple of years.
So it's like, was any of this explained in those? I don't remember.
Mm. Nothing was really explained from what I remember about the under thing, just that Ori lived in it. And Ori was such an interesting character in the King Killer Chronicles. Um, I'll probably touch base on that more when we get into talking about the characters. I will say I was expecting a lot more from such a slow read about the environment and the world building of it all. She did, I think it was somewhere near the beginning of the book, mention there was basically three doorways to get into anywhere from her room where she was living in the underthing to everywhere else she adventures. There was three doors or doorways or exits. Um, where we really only heard about her going through two, And then I think she went through the third one right at the end, but you didn't hear a lot about that. And then all of the places in the Underthing, she was following different pipes that led to different areas. That was what she followed. It was all very intuitive from what I read as well, which I thought was confusing because if she was living there, she would just should have an understanding as to where things lead. And she does, but that's not written about. It just says, oh, she picks a pipe and follows it, which makes it sound like she has no idea where she's going. But
Good point.
following the story, she knows what she's doing and where she's going, and she just happens to end up at that place. But in the writing, oh, she picked a copper pipe and followed it, and this is where it took her. It's like she's not exploring it for the first time, but it's written as if she is.
Yeah, I wonder if that's her sort of mindset, though. She's sort of whimsical and, not quite, she's mentally ill, basically. Like, I don't think anyone's disputing that. So maybe that is how she thinks of it, as that could be a character thing rather than a world building thing, I
Yeah.
guess. But I mean, like, there are so many we sort of have to guess at a lot of it. I think that's part of the problem. It's like, does she know where she's going? Doesn't she? It's like you don't need everything spoon fed and answered, but yeah, I think this book created way more questions.
Yeah,
And
so she created a quest for herself and would pick a pipe and follow that pipe through various tunnels throughout the underground, the underthing, which would lead to various rooms and doors. And it's like maybe it was the basement area to a house. Maybe it's where all the houses and buildings are connected to. But she would like let herself into places, and a lot of them seemed like they were abandoned, which is not how they're written in the King Killer Chronicles.
yeah, I don't remember. I think in the original books, I just thought it was a sewer system,
Mm.
but it's all connected to this. Yeah, so it's confusing. Well, it was confusing for me.
It does also touch base in some of it as well, where there was an issue that arose on one of the pipes
Yeah.
and how she had to mend the pipe so no one came down to inspect the underthing.
Yeah.
So she's down there fixing and mending and doing stuff so no one invades her
I
space.
actually thought that was fun. I forgot about that. I thought that was funny. It's like there's got to be people above ground that are the engineers or whatever, or the plumbers, just wondering like, I haven't had to go down there for years and fix anything.
Yeah,
It's like
just fix themselves.
yeah, they fix themselves. They're really well built, really well engineered. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was funny. All right. So, what would you rate the world building um, based on what you've said?
I'd probably give it a 3. Like, it definitely touched base on a lot of things. You got a general sense of what the world was, but you also had to fill in a lot of gaps and guess a lot of it. So there was no distinct answer as to what the underthing actually was.
Yeah, which is I think is fine for the other books, but because this book was, I thought this was. I think part of my issue with the book as well is not understanding what it was at the start, and that is partly the author's fault. Bit of evil wizardry going on there. Um, Even from the blurb, it's not obvious what you're getting yourself into.
No, when I read the blurb, it makes me think you're going to find out what the underthing is and you're going to learn more about Ori and her thinking and movements in the world. And it does touch base on that, but I feel like not as much as I was expecting it to.
I'm starting to realize now the evil wizardry is probably going to bring down a lot of the other categories as well because I feel like there's a lot of false expectations.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next category, characters. All right, this is one where I almost could have given it a 5 because when I read this book, I think I said a few chapters in, I'm like, Well, first I said, does anything happen at any point? Because Jesse read it first. And then at a certain point, I said, this just feels like a character exploration exercise rather than an actual story. And turns out it is exactly that. Um, Basically, through the author's own admission, we'll get to that soon. But it's done really well. Like you get into the head of this character. You don't fully understand her, but you understand how the world is being filtered through her perspective. Um, yeah. So the only reason, I mean, I should say a bit more on that as well. It's like she's clearly got some mental issues. It's almost like someone going through some kind of psychosis, and then it's almost she's like she's in a drug induced psychosis, and she's rearranging furniture for however many pages that is, just moving things around to different places. Which I mean, I'm not even joking. That is basically what the plot is. We'll get to plot soon. Um, but you do I feel like you do get a good sense of her thinking and mindset, and she has her own sort of unique way of speaking as well. I love it when authors like mess with the language a little bit and sort of create words or create phrases that wouldn't be common or wouldn't be commonly said in like normal speaking English.
Yeah.
So that's what brings it up for me. The only reason it's not a five is because I don't feel like I don't know. It felt like I thought we were going to get more. Yeah. What am I trying to say? I don't feel like we got like a big, strong, like character arc. It was a week in the life of this person, and she's doing all the stuff she would normally do. And I thought something was going to come in and like really disrupt her routine, and some things do happen, but it's not enough to for me to like justify this being the story or seeing this particular part of the character's life. um yeah, so it's probably more a plot issue, but that's what brought down the rating for me.
Mm.
What do you think?
I loved Ori in the King Killer Chronicles. She was my favorite character. So I was really, really excited for this book. And it's why when I found it in a bookshop and came home, I was extremely excited. Like, oh my God, look at what I found. Um, I was so excited to get into it. And I thought we were just going to dive deep into her world and her thinking and possibly find out how some background story for how she became who she is,
Mm.
or why she's living into the under thing, or anything, any extra information. And we
I
did
will say
get,
there are hints.
there are some hints. um I feel like we did get some insider thoughts. We did find it was written from through her words, the way that she thinks, the way she moves through the world. So it did follow that a little bit. I was just disappointed that we didn't get more information in her background.
Mm. Yeah.
I was hoping to get more of why she is the way she is.
Yeah.
And it did start to touch on it, or at least I feel like maybe it was starting to touch onto those things, and then it just stopped.
Yeah. Great.
Um, so
Screensaver. I didn't even know I had a screensaver enabled.
yeah,
Sorry.
so I do like that. Yeah, I think I probably give it a 3.5.
Oh,
Because
two
only
and a half.
because
Okay.
only because I didn't get all the things I was hoping for or thought were gonna be revealed from an
Mm.
entire book just on one character. If there were more characters in the story, I probably wouldn't have focused so much on that. But if you're going to do an entire book where there's only one character, I want to dive deep
You want
into
everything.
that character. I want
You
everything.
want the whole character buffet.
Yeah. I feel like I want to know everything about that character if they are the only character in that book.
Yeah.
If there are more characters, sure. What we got was pretty good. You touched enough on all the bases. You got a little bit of history, all of her thinkings, the way she moves through the world, which is why I think, it's leaning closer to the four. But because it is just one character through an entire book and we don't get the backgrounds on why she is that way,
Mm.
it brings it back, but it's not quite as low as a 3. So I think a 3.5.
That's fair. And I have a feeling he's saving like her backstory and all that stuff for the third book. Or was back when her third book was at.
If a third book ever makes its appearance.
Yeah, so we're never gonna know, basically. But yeah, so yeah, if I look at it through the lens of just a character exploration activity, which, like I said, it pretty much is. It's actually really well written. I've got to give it credit for that. Um, but it's also presented and marketed as a story, complete story, and that brings us to plot. Um, so I'm going to say straight up, I'm giving the plot a 1. I don't think I've ever rated anything so lowly in my life. Um, and maybe it's a bit harsh, um, but I'm going to stick with it. And the reason I give it a 1 is you read the blurb. I don't think there's any indication that you're going to get a plotless story. And when I say plotless, it's not like nothing happens. She does have a goal, and it is to find the perfect gift for, well, what's his name? Kavothi? The
For the
guy,
King Killer.
the main dude from the King
Yeah.
Killer is, she thinks he's gonna show up one day to, pay her a visit, whatever they get up to, that's none of my business. Um, so that is the plot. She's sort of going around, moving things around, looking at things. It's like, oh, I can't give him this. Oh, he's not going to like this. This isn't good enough. Oh, these, oh, no, I can't. Not good enough. And then, and the author, I'm not going to call him an evil wizard yet. Old Patty actually apologizes for this in the author note at the end. There is a huge section of the book. I can't remember how many pages it was, where she's making soap. So she spoiler, she figures out what she wants to give him. She wants to give him, there was a soap for
No, no.
him.
Nope.
The soap was for her.
Yeah.
She's making herself soap. That's right, because she ran out of soap, and that's like the big source of, I guess.
No, the rats ate her soap.
Well, technically I was right, but yes, I should have mentioned the rats. So some creatures ate her soap. Um, the summary,
Naughty things
and,
there.
and that was probably the biggest source of like conflict and tension throughout the book. It's like, oh, I'm out of soap. It's like, I know what it's like when you run out of something, and it's like, oh, the shops are closing soon. Not sure if I'm going to get there in time. So that's the sort of situation we're dealing with. It's like, oh, old mate Kavoffi's showing up soon. Um, she stinks because she lives in a sewer. She probably smells rancid, and she needs a soap. So she spends a good chunk of the story um, foraging for food, and then at the end, finally making the soap. And then after the soap, I thought, okay, cool, the soap's done. We can move on from that. Now the really big, impactful thing is going to happen, surely. Now after that, she's like, oh, well, now I need to make a candle, because that was the gift. That was one of the gifts, wasn't it? Yeah. So now I need to make a candle. So then she spends however many pages making a candle. And then and I'm thinking, is she about to open like a soap and candle stall at the local market? What is she doing here? Why are we reading about this? And then so I will say, I'm trying to think of something nice to say about the plot. Um, I've given it a 1. I guess that means I've got nothing nice to say. So I did like that. So the sort of, there is a big moment at the end, you could call it a payoff, and it's the only thing that might bring the plot score up and even my enjoyment score up to a certain extent because it does reveal something about the character. I'm probably not going to spoil that one because that is actually a pretty big spoiler for the series. But I have a question about that for you.
I hope I'm not going to spoil the plot that you're trying not to spoil because we didn't talk about this
Yeah,
beforehand. And if we're allowed to do spoilers or not. So I'm just talking
I
off the
forgot to mention.
cuff.
So yeah, let's just assume that this whole book's spoiled. I don't recommend you read it anyway. I usually do spoiler-free reviews, but I think this one we wouldn't be able to talk about
Mhm.
it properly
Yeah,
without spoiling it. But I just have a question about she essentially uses magic at the end, and it's hinting that she. So if you're not familiar with the character, she has names for everything. She seems to be able to she seems to be able to figure out the name of things, or like she's not happy until she's got the right name for everything, and it just seems like a bit of a character quirk at the start. At the end, it implies that she actually is figuring out the true names of things, and then in that particular universe, if you know the true name of something, you have power over it. And then my question to you is, and I kind of like how this was done, because do you think she actually did that and knew the true names of the things to be able to make that happen? Or is it just still because she's mentally ill? Is she imagining that she did that? Because the
the
whole,
whole story.
no, just at the end when she does the thing where she uses the naming magic.
I'm wondering if I've completely forgotten about the naming magic.
Oh, you've forgotten about the only part of the plot that stuck with me. That's fun. I've forgotten most of the other part, but that's the part that's the
What
rest of
was
the.
the naming part?
So remember when she's making the candle
Mhm.
and she's like, it's not right, it's not right. And then she's finally like, oh, so she has this thing where she's like, the world shouldn't move for me. I'm nothing, I'm worthless, whatever. And then at that point she decides, no, I can make you were telling me about this earlier because I'd forgotten a part of this. Um, she's like, oh, she sort of changed her mind, like, oh, I guess, but this candle's for Kavofi. I can make the world move for me. And then I took it to mean she was using the names of the things to make them do what she wanted them to do. Like that sort of naming magic. Did I misinterpret that? I'm not reading this book again.
One of us missed something.
Maybe we both got it wrong. Um,
Yeah. Um, I feel like she does put a lot of thought into things. Um, about 85% of what she does is thought towards other things and other people. And anything that involves herself is considered selfish and wrong in her mind, is what I gathered from the book.
yeah, yeah, I agree.
Um, there were a lot of things that you mentioned that I wanted to completely argue with, but I didn't want to interrupt. And
No, let's go. Let's get into it. Finally, we're gonna disagree completely on something.
what was the first thing you completely disagreed with? Because I should have been taking notes.
Um, so yeah, so I gave plot a one, and what did I say first? I talked about the soap and the candle and the how it was basically like someone in a drug-induced psychosis rearranging furniture for an entire book.
Yeah. Yeah. So she definitely goes around finding things. Every day, I thought this was an interesting part. Every day had a meaning.
Mm,
So every day she woke up, it was it the way the sun was, or the way the light trickled through, or there was something that indicated what type of day it was.
Yeah, wasn't like a finding day or a.
Yeah, if it was a finding day or a making day or whatever it was, every single day she woke up in the book was a specific day, and it was the best day to do that particular thing.
Mm. See, I'm going to be honest. I have forgotten a lot of details because I think I read this at least a few weeks ago now. You read it
I
even.
read this a couple of months ago. I read it all in one go because I was worried if I put it down, I would never pick it up again. Um, I did.
I know that feeling.
I did enjoy a few parts of the story though. Um, I thought you mentioned she goes hunting for food for a good part of the story as well. And I do want to touch base on that because she didn't go hunting for food. She has a certain amount of food stores in her private garden where she has a specific amount of stuff. I think it was only maybe like an apple and a couple of nuts, peas, dehydrated peas. She made a soup. So she didn't have a lot, and she did keep this small amount of food throughout the entire 6 or 7 days or whatever the book lasted for. Whenever she did venture into places that had food, she didn't take it because she said that was a selfish thing to do because it's selfish to want for yourself.
Yeah, so I thought that was a an interesting character
Yeah,
trait.
she is
But,
hungry, she doesn't eat,
so my question
and
is,
she doesn't take because it's for herself.
so you enjoyed that about the character, it sounds like, but did you enjoy reading about her, like from as a plot point, like going at one point she goes to like it's sort of like a farmstead, I guess, and does that thing, and I thought,
Like a shop, like a warehouse to a shop, like a back storage room.
oh no no, so there was that one, and the one where she actually left, like fully left, was outside. You know, she went to that farmstead, and the kid saw her, so she was like playing a trick on her or whatever. I guess the kid thought she was a fairy. Did you forget about
I
another
forgot
bit?
about that.
I
Um,
think she got honey. Remember, she got the honeycomb.
oh, she did get the honeycomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was I.
Yeah,
So that
which she used to make the soap and the candle,
that's right.
the wax from the
So
honeycomb.
that annoyed me because I thought, oh, she's left the under thing. She's gonna run into more people. This is where the plot picks up. This is where we're going to see maybe she has a run in with someone. There's going to be some genuine tension. There's not.
Yeah. Every time she went to leave the under thing, it was disappointing that nothing actually happened.
Hmm.
There was maybe a third of the book dedicated to her making the soap. And that was the other thing I wanted to touch base on. The soap making did go for too long. She did make it entirely by hand. It had to be right. There was like all of
But
these.
I don't want to. I don't need to know that process.
Yeah.
Why did we? It's that type of. So here's the thing. It's that type of story. There's no genuine conflict. There's no genuine tension. Her motivations aren't interesting to me, at least.
The soap was very important to her character, though. I know it seems crazy to spend, and I do think they could have condensed how long she spent making soap. But through the whole book, it mentions one of the key factors of the underthing is that it's a dirty place. And every time she moved throughout the underthing, she had a hidden piece of soap in every part of the underthing. And whenever she journeyed from one part to another, she would wash her hands, wash her face, wash her feet.
Hmm.
That was like part of her routine. She
Yeah.
needed to be clean.
Yeah, I was given a
Yeah. So
given a shit for being filthy before, and so no, no, it's actually
yeah, no, that
it's
was
pretty
one
clean.
of the main things that I wanted to debate with you about was no, she was very clean, and that was why the soap was so important
Yeah,
because the
okay.
rodents ate it And it wasn't like, oh no, I'm running low on soap, I should make it soon. It's like, no, those filthy creatures ate my soap. And now I need to spend 5 days making soap or whatever it was.
An entire book.
um, it was definitely way too much.
I mean, it was maybe like a quarter of the book was the soap, a third of the book, something like that. The soap and the candle
Yeah.
combined, I'd say maybe a third.
Yeah.
I just didn't
We
find
did
it.
explore, she came across a new room, and I think this was one of the trinkets she found because she found multiple trinkets, and everything she finds needs to have its proper place in the world. So if
Yes.
things don't feel right, she feels obligated to fix them
Yep.
because she's a broken person in a broken place and everything needs fixing. And I think that was maybe the point of the book. She come across this potentially abandoned house that was half broken down, and she's just trying to fix it and make it right.
Mm.
And like a key opened up this place, so she
Wasn't
didn't
even
have
really a
access
house. It
to it
was more of
before.
just like a room. That's why I'm
Well,
so.
it was like a an there was a room with some shelves. She moved up a staircase. There was a room where she like didn't want to even look at or pay attention because it was like gave her weird vibes. And
Mm,
she completely skipped past that to get to this other room
yeah,
where maybe it was like a bedroom or something. We're trying to make it right.
yeah, yeah.
And
So,
and then even the end when she went to go make the candle because it's not for herself. She was realizing she was running out of time. So she couldn't make the candle by hand the way she made her soap. So she's like, I need a quick way to make this candle.
mm,
So she goes to a place where she avoids. You can tell she's got strong feelings and tension towards this place. And I felt like we were starting to get a glimpse of her and her character and maybe where she came from
mm,
towards the end when she was making the candle.
yeah,
And then I felt like there was tension building there because it's like, I need to do this quick because I might get found. This is not a place I want to be, and it's not a place I should be in. So I felt tension there.
I think the problem I had with like the tension and stuff, it was all created in her head. So it's hard to care about it. Like at the start, yeah, it's okay. I get it. But then when it's just a whole book of
Mm,
imagined problems, it's like
yeah.
I just, like I said, good character exploration, but I didn't care by the end.
Yeah.
I,
I was hoping at this point because of the things she was thinking and feeling and the tension building up. Oh, this is the moment a second character is going to be introduced. And then it wasn't. The candle was made, she retreated back to collecting her gifts.
yeah, I think for something like that, Kavofi was never going to actually make an appearance. Um,
I should probably do a rating
oh, didn't you rate the plot?
for my plot.
I thought that was a four there for a second. I thought you were leading with a four.
Oh, I don't want to say one because I did feel something, even though I was still disappointed. I'm going to give it a two.
Okay. I do feel like my one, after hearing you talk about the parts that you enjoyed, my one might be a bit harsh. I'm going to stick with it, but it annoyed me so much that I felt like nothing was happening. Nothing I cared about was happening. Oh, there's that screensaver again. I swear I don't have a screensaver set up, but apparently I do. It was nice. It was
Your
like,
videos don't go for 40 minutes.
yeah, I'm not usually recording for this long. We're drinking wine and gin, by the way. It's we're not just doing a review. We're on a date. The kids are occupied watching a movie, so we've got a little bit more peace than we normally get. So yeah, it's a bit of a date. Um, that brings us to enjoyment. How much are you enjoying doing this review? No,
Doing this review or reading the book?
so we'll rate the book. We won't rate the review. Um, I'm giving it a 2. I just I think if I knew what it was from the start, and it's like, hey, here's a like I said, a character exploration exercise Patrick Rothfuss has done on this character, and I read it when I was in the right mindset, then I could have given it a 3. But because I thought I was getting like a full story with big payoffs, maybe some big reveals, some interesting information about the character and the world and the series and whatever. I just found myself the whole time. I mean, asking you repeatedly, does something happen? And then I think I got to the soap, and that was the end for me. So I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy reading. I enjoyed reading her language, the language. I enjoyed exploring the character, but overall, I didn't enjoy the book. And part of that score is probably because there's so much other stuff I want to read. And I'm reading this just thinking, am I wasting my time on this when I want to read all this other stuff? So it's a little bit weighted for that reason.
Yeah.
But what did you think?
I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
Wow.
Back to my half.
One and a half.
Yeah, I was really
Wow.
disappointed.
I thought
I
I
was
was
really disappointed. I even reread the blurb after reading the book
I did the
just to
same.
see if it was going to give away what the book actually was. And again, I was like, I got more out of the blurb than I did the actual book. I did enjoy reading through her thought process. She definitely slows down and regards the things that can't talk, like belt buckles and sticks and blankets and things. Um, but I
That
needed
you
more.
just named the entire cast of characters
Yeah,
there. There
yeah.
was Aura, and then there was Stick and Blanket and Dog and Buckle.
No, there was
They were
also
Foxen.
there was Foxen. I didn't
Foxen.
name Foxen. Foxen was a
No,
solid
don't
character.
don't say. If you want to find out who Foxen is, you're gonna have to
That
read the book.
I think only lasted a third of the book. Where was Foxen?
Foxen was tired. I think
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
Foxen get?
Foxen was tired. I think Foxen was moody.
Ah, yeah, Foxen was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Foxen was moody
is
and
that what
wanted
it
to be
was?
left alone and was sleeping or something. Foxen needed a rest.
Oh my
Um,
god.
so she had to channel through the Underthing in darkness.
Yep.
Yeah. Um,
Silly old Foxen. Classic Foxen.
no.
He's always in a mood, that one.
Well, if you got dropped
I
in a pond and
actually,
forgotten about and then rescued last minute because
all
you
right,
floated to the surface,
good point. I'm on Team Foxen now. He was a bit mistreated.
he was abandoned.
All right, I think we. I can't believe you gave it such a low enjoyment score.
I give Foxen a 3.5.
I want an entire book, same size, from the perspective of Foxen. That's what I want next. It'd be better than that.
Yeah.
No, I would. Let's not. Don't give him any ideas. All right. The last category, evil wizardry.
Mm.
How much evil wizardry do you think went into not just the writing of this book? The right. It's not really the writing. It's the way. Because I'm already like sort of leading you here. I definitely think there's some evil wizardry in the way it was, I guess, promoted and
Should
published.
I take the lead on this one
Go
so
for
you
it.
don't feel persuaded?
Go for it.
All right. In terms of evil wizardry, I would take into account the illustrations because there were no illustrations in any of the King Killer Chronicle books.
Okay.
So that was a new thing. It's like, oh, now we also get visuals to go with the story, and they were really well done. Um, then you've got the price that you pay. Um, Now I'm all for paying people for their hard work. But this is a one character exercise. This is not what I would consider a standalone book or
You're saying he didn't put effort into this? He says he revised it 80 times, which explains why we don't have a book 3.
he
Was it 80?
I
Get that
don't I
right?
don't remember if he did it 80 times, but he ends it with a, I swear, 20-page apology letter at the end of the book
It's a few pages.
saying, "I thought this shouldn't have existed. I was going to lock it away, and someone told me while drinking at a bar I should publish it, and so I did."
He referred to it as a trunk story. It was never meant to be published. And so I think this is what has brought down my evil wizardry score, lower being more evil. And some of my other ones, it sold. We paid, we didn't, we, because you couldn't remember. We only looked at this yesterday, I think it was. This tiny half story was $23. So it was priced the same as a novel. You could get a big, thick, epic fantasy novel for that much
Yeah.
if you go to the right bookshop. So I actually think,
But I mean, also maybe $3. I would dedicate $3 of that to Patrick Rothfuss and the other 20 to the illustrators because they did a good job.
so that's a good point because that's something that I didn't take into consideration. That it does that is a it's a beautiful cover. It's nice on the back. The illustrations do add something. It's something I'm starting to enjoy. I think the first time in ages I came across a book that had illustrations in it was I read a book called Reborn as a Vending Machine. I might have told you about it, but it's like a like Japanese style, what do they call them? Light novel, I think. And they
Mm.
have illustrations. And reading that, I thought, oh, this is actually cool. This needs to become the norm. If an author can afford it, get someone to illustrate. Just one illustration a chapter would be sweet. It just adds so much more. So I agree. Um, Part of the price is justified just because of the illustrations, because of that cover. It looks nice on a bookshelf. Um, but did you want to say what your evil wizardry score is? Or do you want me to talk about
Yeah, no, I want to show two of my favorite illustrations because they're so well done.
Yeah.
And I think they depict the Ori character perfectly.
Yeah.
Um, my evil wizardry score. Now we're saying the higher, like if we gave it a 5, it is the most
No, 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 no.
evil wizardry.
Because the evil wizardry needs to bring the score down. So
Right. So
5
if
would be
he is
no.
highly full of evil wizardry at
Yeah.
the 1.
Yeah. If he was like a pure evil, if you think this book is nothing but pure, like a tome of pure evil wizardry,
Mm.
then you'd give it a 1. If you think no evil wizardry was used in the making and publishing of this book,
Yeah, he's a
give it
good
a 5.
wizard. Good wizard would get a 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I do not think Patrick Rothfuss is a good wizard. I'm gonna give
I
it a
thought you,
2 out of 5.
I thought you were going the other
2
way
out
with
of
that for a
5.
second.
Um, I did consider doing a 1 out of 5, but I did also like having a little bit extra exploration of Ori, who was my favorite character. So I give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah. So okay, and that's my score as well. So we agree on that one. And the reason I'm giving it a 2 out of 5.
He means well.
So I think this is not so much. I think half of that evil wizardry blame goes to the publisher as well.
Mm.
Because it's not presented as what it is. You get to the end, that author's note. Patrick Rothfuss does apologize for this book. He says, yes, it's missing conflict, it's missing all the things that would normally make a compelling story, but this is a story that a certain type of reader will enjoy. My problem is that note should have been at the start, not the end after you've read it and go, what? what did I just read? It's like,
That's not how it was marketed,
it's like,
and
oh,
that's why
oh, that
it
makes sense. It is like all the critiques, and this is sneaky as well. He goes through and he mentions the critiques, what he knows the critiques are going to be. He like heads you off. It's like, oh, no, it's this and this is wrong with this. So most of the critiques that I've given today, Patrick Rothfuss has given as well
yeah, he
to
agreed.
this same book,
Yeah.
but he doesn't do it until the end. He's like, oh, now that you've paid for it and read it, oh, let me confess like the evil wizard I am. Yeah, this is what it is. So that's why, if that was at the start, actually, I have a few more ideas about this. I think, now I know some people do enjoy this book and have enjoyed this book. So if you do, great. I can see why you would. Especially if you're more of a character focused reader. I did enjoy the character moments. Um, I think this would have worked really well, and this isn't meant to be an insult at this point, as a picture book,
Yeah.
like with really good illustrations. I
And
mean,
like a fifth of the amount of words.
oh, less like a kid's picture book, it would be fewer words, but you could still
Yeah.
get some of that interesting language in there, which I think would be
Yeah.
interesting in a picture book. Great illustrations, that sort of different language. You could still explore the characters. She could still go through, um, those stressful moments for her. Oh, I'm out of soap, because the expectations are lower in a picture book, like
Mm.
plot wise. Like you read one of the
Yeah.
books that we read to our youngest kid, and it's like they're not super stressful. It's not high stakes conflict
Yeah.
in a lot of those books. And I feel like that's what this was. It was more, it was almost like a picture book. It's almost like someone had written the words for a picture book, but then expanded it into this novella.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're saying is it's like the marketing was all wrong. They market it as a novella, not as like a like a side story. They didn't market it for what it actually was. It was
Yeah.
marketed as if it was something entirely different.
Yeah.
So it's evil wizardry because it's not what you thought you were paying for.
Yeah. And I mean, I wasn't going to give that evil wizard any of my money anyway until he comes good on his broken charity promises. But you got tricked essentially. You wanted to read this. You wanted to read the book that you thought you were buying, and then turned out not to be that.
Evil wizard.
Evil wizard. I'm glad we agree on that. All right, that's it. We're probably done. Do you want to plug your Instagram? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Just plug my Instagram. What does that even mean?
Do you want people to follow you on Instagram?
Yeah, add a link in the bio or something.
Yeah. If you're a human with hair, Jessie's a hairdresser. We're in her salon space at the moment. Um, yeah, I don't think there's going to be much overlap in our audiences, but if you have hair or you're into hair, follow
Wildflower luxury hair.
on Instagram. All right, I'm gonna finish this glass of wine. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy this video, hit subscribe anyway and hate watch my content. That's always fun.